Hello guys, the next Banter Blitz, the next try to play better. At least it is something that I promised to you last week, because my performance last week was just awful. I've lost too many games, I guess. Unfortunately, this episode is rescheduled from the normal Thursday. I had some problems with the internet connection. Now they are more or less solved, so I'm happy to come back. Yesterday, I had an opportunity to do my weekly Training Tuesday show. Well, it was more like Training Saturday, but nevertheless, I think the viewers were happy to analyze another great game of Akiba Rubinstein. But today we're going just to play. Anyway, I'm going to tell you something new probably about chess. At least if you will learn something new, I'll be happy. Okay, so since it is a rescheduled episode, there are not so many challenges. So I'm going just to play it one by one. Let's see. For now, we have only 3. So I will start with Super Bohemio. Accept. As usual, just let me know on chat if you can hear me, if you can see me well. Alright, will be helpful. Should be just fine, I guess. Alright, so my opponent decided to play d4. And now knight goes to c3, which is very safe after d5. No, it's a well-known gambit. So let me remember how I usually play here. So I take with the knight or I take with the pawn. I guess I take with the pawn here. Then I capture. And then I start with the c6. Trying to get the position which is pretty much similar to Caro-Kann. So bishop f5. Now e6. And that goes to g5. Okay. I don't really remember the theory here. So the point is, now there is a threat of knight takes f7, king f7, rook takes f5, because in that case, my pawn e6 will be pinned. So should I just play bishop g6 here? I just don't remember. There will be a possibility to sacrifice the minor piece on e6. Is it really dangerous? Maybe it's better for me to start with the b5, but I don't think it will really help. So let's go bishop g6 and c. Okay, knight there with the idea of knight to f4. Okay, very logical. So let's put the bishop on d6 then. Now I think I have to take. Because the threat of taking my bishop on g6 was really annoying, I guess. This bishop is somehow my main defender here, that's what I mean. That's why I decided to give up my dark squared bishop, which is obviously not very cool. So my opponent definitely has serious compensation for missing material. But anyway, I think saving the light squared bishop here means much more. It's much more important. Alright, now let's try to occupy good squares with my pieces. I think d5 is exactly where my knight belongs. I exert some concrete pressure. So bishop on f4 is under attack. Bishop is the defender of the knight, so I'm basically intending to win a piece. Easily capturing the bishop and then the knight. So extra pawn for black. Bishop goes away. Obviously, white wants to save that bishop on the board. Because it is a good attacking piece for the future. I'm curious if I have to play something like h6 now, because I have a feeling that white is going to play h4 next move, continuing with the attack. I have two options, I suppose. So the one is just knight d7 followed by knight f6. And the second knight will replace the one that went to d5. Another option is just to start with the h6 so that h4 is no longer that dangerous because the knight will go to f3. So let's try h6 here. Maybe not the best move, but I think it's good to, to get rid of that annoying knight. Knight on g5 was anyway very active. And bishop to d3, that's a bit surprising to me, because after this exchange, I'm not sure white will have a serious attacking plan on the king side. So I'm kind of pawn up. There are probably some slight problems with finding good squares for my knights immediately, but I think it's just a normal Karakanian pawn structure. So what about just playing the c5, undermining the central pawn and trying to simplify a position in general, because after all I'm having extra material, so it should be not that terrible. That's what I mean. Bishop there. Okay, let's also keep on activating our pieces. Rook to c8, probably with the idea of c4. I can also consider just taking on d4. Queen b6 may be an interesting follow-up as well. For now, on the other hand, I want to keep my queen here, just additionally controlling some squares on the king side, because I'm still not entirely sure that white doesn't have an attack there. So at least white is placing all the pieces closer to my king, which is quite natural, to be honest. Okay, so take on d4, playing c4, that's a good question. C4 will basically simplify my opponent's space. Let's just take on d4. Okay, I didn't expect that at all. So I expected only something connected with taking with the knight on d4. Now we have an isolated pawn to attack. So probably I will focus exactly on this sort of things. So something like queen b6, rook d8 looks very natural now. Moreover, here queen b6 stops my opponent's queen from going to g3 quickly. If bishop h6, I just capture, I suppose. Queen g3, king goes away. Doesn't look very dangerous. Alright, let's keep on activating our pieces against the pawn d4. Rook to c1, okay. I'm happy to simplify the position a bit. So to play knight to b4, not to play, yeah, why not? Let's try it. So attacking the queen, attacking d4 at the same time. a2 is also under pressure. So who knows, maybe bishop b4 is forced. Position is simplified even more. Okay, now, what to do now? Don't have a lot of time. So let's just make a useful move, stopping white from playing rook to c7. That's the primary goal of queen a5. All right. So it's time to centralize again, I think. Okay, everybody to the center. Maybe b5 will be the next step. Okay. This position is slightly better than several moves ago, I suppose. Right. There is another target, c3 square. Here we go. Oh, there is a possibility for white actually to play queen to f3. I didn't even look there. To attack my knight and f7 pawn. It was not that critical because I had queen to c7. Yeah, I think I was also winning. Alright, check. And wins the game. Alright, so managed to win this one. Was interesting fight. I have a feeling that bishop to d3 in the opening was just, you know, too simple. It was much better, in my opinion, to try something like bishop to b3. So it was the idea of playing c4, then maybe d5 or something. At least trying to grab as much space as possible. Another possibility, I guess, is to try queen to e1, queen to g3 maneuver. That is also interesting. So after queen e1, there is also a possibility to play knight to h4, attacking my bishop. So in general, white should save as many pieces on the board as possible, because white is a pawn down, and white wants to attack. For this attack, white needs resources. That's the general strategy here. So I'm happy to exchange as many pieces as possible. King and pawn ending will be just great for me. That's why I don't think bishop d3 is a good idea in general. It doesn't mean that white's position is lost after that. I just don't feel like I'm really in trouble after that. On the king side, everything is more or less protected. Here again, I expected knight to d4 with active pieces play. So after that, queen has direct access to g3 square. So I was a bit afraid of this. I still think that black is okay here, but too many open files against my king, that's what I mean. So there are definitely some good chances. cd4 is creating weakness voluntarily, probably not the best idea again. So after this, even though the knight is only 5, well, I have very simple play. So pawn d4 is terribly weak, and feels like I have everything protected on the king side. Yeah, so all these sacrifices are not very dangerous. It takes. Well, maybe only here after knight e5 and queen b6, there was a moment I was a bit afraid of this bishop h6. And after g takes h6, queen to g3, forcing my king. Okay, I have h7 square, but then, yeah, I can go to h7, that's the point. So if queen goes to d3, I just go to h8, avoiding perpetual. But then there is a possibility to play queen h3, attacking h6. So maybe that was a great chance for, okay, here I can take on d4, obviously, but then king goes there. And yeah, queen d2. So maybe after this, rook to f2 is an option. I don't know. I mean, there is a problem with protecting h6. So maybe I don't have a good defense. Right here is always this. No, maybe I'm just in time to protect everything critical here. But anyway, interesting idea in general. So maybe in a slightly different position it would work fine. So to take on h6, queen g3, and then you just attack h6 somehow, and so forth. Okay, thanks for the game. Let's go further. Prison Mike is here. Talial is here. Okay, guys, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining the stream. Let's play on him. Accept. Playing with white pieces. e4. How's the stream going so far? On my end, everything seems to be fine. Of course, I mean from a technical point of view, and that is basically what my question is about. Onem, it's your move. Let's go. Taliel says, all good and clear. It's fine, says Xtonax. Prison Mike says, the stream is good. Nice. Thank you guys for the feedback. You may notice a strange background. That's why I'm actually using a slightly different location. If we talk about the stable connection, it's definitely a much better location if compared to the previous one. So most likely I will just use this location from now on for my streams. Alright, so Onam, are you going to play or not? I'm just waiting for too long. Okay, we'll abort this one. And let's go further. The Clasher. Accept the Clasher. Okay, white pieces again. E4. The Clasher is a tough opponent. So, as far as I remember, yeah, I've lost some games to this guy. Knight to c6. The question, Andrey, for which club do you play this year? What do you mean? Which league? Bundesliga or Pro Chess League or what? What is your question about? Well, I can already say that it will be the same club in Bundesliga. As for Pro Chess League, I have no idea. Probably I will not participate at all this year. Okay, e4. So Queen f6 is my favorite move. No, I don't want to play this super boring Queen takes d4. Instead, I want to try this direction. Just knight takes d4. Of course, if you don't want to play boring chess, you shouldn't take on c6 in the first place. It's a good point, I think. But for Blitz, I find bishop c6 very suitable. Because you can play quickly and, you know, make lots of moves effortlessly, spending no time. And the time is very important for Blitz. Okay, c5, knight to b3. I have a feeling we will have something very similar to the main line. I mean f6, d4 takes, c5 and so forth, but with queens on the board, which is interesting. When I play black, I usually prefer playing bishop d7, castling first, and only then doing something active in the center. Because this c5 creates an object of attack for me. Oh, right, c4. This is something I didn't expect at all. What about playing knight to a5? Is it possible to bring the knight there? Maybe I'm blundering something, but after knight a5, I attack the pawn. There is queen e6, obviously protecting it. Because bishop e6 may give me just an extra pawn after knight takes b7. I have a feeling that I will have enough time to escape. There is also an option of just going back to d4. Going to d2 doesn't feel very good. So knight to a5? Huh? Okay, let's try it. I'm really curious if I can save the knight after this, because it's really limited. Just want to come up with some experimenting maybe. Alright, so after b5, at least there is no threat of b6 trapping my knight. That is portion of good news. Moreover, diagonal h1, a8 is very, very weak. Queen d5 looks very attractive now. Knight to c3 is also a move. In tandem, some like knight to d5. I don't even know what is better here. So both somehow look very good. So queen d5 rook will probably just go to... I don't know. Okay, let's start with... No, I don't know. Let's go queen d5. The question is, will they clash for castle at all? Don't know. We'll see. I will try to do everything to prevent that. Interesting position. So the rook is hanging. There are also some ideas like bishop g5 next move. Attacking the queen and attacking like d8 square, so this will probably force queen to d6. Rook to d1 is also an interesting follow-up. Followed by this bishop g5 a bit later. I don't know if black has anything better than rook b8 anyway, because if rook goes to a7, then after bishop e3 there is a big problem. As rook b8 is probably forced. Right now, I guess bishop g5 is very natural. Let's make this move. Just a tempo development, right? What's next? That's a good question. Yeah, if queen d6, I can try rook to d1. If queen d5, rook d5, I have a threat of rook d8, but it's probably not very promising. Because if queen d5, rook d5, there is bishop e6, then everything is under control. Maybe I somehow should include knight c6, or maybe just knight c3 now. If queen takes d5, I take with the knight. Attacking c7, that is something more interesting, I suppose. Yeah, let's play knight to c3. Position looks good. My knight on a5 is probably just safe. I don't see a big trouble coming. Probably bishop e6 was the best move here, forcing me to exchange queens. Because this move helps me a bit. Now I have tremendous advantage in development. Although it is an endgame stage, we still have a lot of pieces on the board. So I guess this advantage still matters. Knight takes c7 looks like an automatic move here, so I don't see a reason why I should not play that, so let's take it. And now I guess bishop to g3 is very annoying, because my knight is protected and there is a threat of just rook to d1. And my knight a5 controls c6, so that the king simply doesn't have the square to go away. All right, so check. And it's lost. It's lost. Okay, so this c5 is probably all right. Maybe even c4 is okay. But after knight to a5, black should have played something else. I don't think that b5 is the best choice here. There were some really annoying moves I was afraid of. Like don't know. So c4 is hanging, right? That's the problem for now. What if black just plays bishop e6? I mean, if I can take on b7, I'm fine, but I'm not sure that I can. After knight to b7, it's really hard to go back. For instance, black can try something like, even something like queen to e5 move. Looks a bit strange, but I just control a5 square and c5 additionally, so that preventing, not really preventing, but fighting white's bishop e3 idea, saving the knight on the board. It was not really a threat, I guess, but still. And now black has a threat of playing queen to b5, just trapping the knight. So I'm really not sure that knight to b7 is a correct option. Is a possibility. If I cannot take on b7, then the whole idea is just a bullshit. I mean, to put the knight on a5, because there it is very, very vulnerable. So b6 is coming, bishop b4 is always unpleasant, and so forth. So I guess b5 was just, you know, making too many weaknesses, and at the same time, given my knight is c6 square, if nothing else works. So queen to d5 now, rook to b8, bishop to g5, queen d6, knight c3. So I managed to complete the development really quickly. So now it's not even about the knight. It's about other threats that white has, and black is struggling to complete the development. I think here, well, h6 was more or less fine. Although maybe it is also just too slow. Maybe I had some tactics. But that was okay. I guess d5 is just a decisive mistake. So something like bishop e6 was still playable, I suppose. Maybe it's even better to start with the bishop e6, just reducing my possibilities, because after h6, bishop h4, I have h5 square, so I can save queens on the board if I want. Bishop e6 immediately almost forces me to capture on d6, or maybe to play queen to c6 check. And then after this exchange, well, black is still in the game. So black is still in the game. Maybe white has initiative. Most likely white has initiative. Knight e5 is coming and so forth, but it's definitely not a lost position. That's what I mean. So taking on d5 was a mistake. Okay, let us continue. Let us continue. Pocky is the next, except playing with black. Another question, Andrey, wondering if you will at some point will make a push for GM title. I'm wondering as well. Have no idea. Well, I will do some pushing, but will it materialize into GM title? I'm not sure. So Italian, there are many different options. d4 is a possibility, so gambit play, yeah. White plays this exactly. Alright. Taking with the bishop. Because taking with the knight is awful, because if knight takes e5. f4. Okay, d6, as far as I remember, is the only sensible option here. An interesting question. So, am I specifically choose tournaments with good options for GM chance? Well, first of all, there are specific tournaments for GM titles, so closed round robins with the GM norm. I play these tournaments from time to time, but really not that often as I probably should. And also very strong open tournaments, like Swiss system, 9 rounds. When I choose such a tournament, of course, I'm thinking of a possibility of making the GM norm there. I mean, if the tournament is strong enough, there are usually a lot of grandmasters, and your task is just to play on the top. And then you have good chances to make a GM norm. But it's a lottery. I mean, there may be a GM norm, there may be no GM norm due to some technicalities. So, c3. Oh, let me remember. So, f takes c5 followed by bishop g5 is the main line. So, can I use it somehow? Bishop g4 is probably not that great. However, maybe it's a good option as well. Bishop g4, queen a4, I can at least play bishop d7 and I will have bishop already developed. If after bishop g4, queen goes to e1, I have knight c2. If after that queen goes to d2, I have knight takes e4 even. Then queen e3, it's all not that clear, but I still think that bishop g4 deserves serious attention. So let's make it. Queen d2, and here knight e4, queen e3, and who knows what's going on there. It's just a crazy position. Knight c2, queen e4, knight a, no, I don't want to play that. So I just want to go back. Can I do something like this? So now e4 is heading. I'm a pawn up for now. So even if I lose the bishop on g4 for something like f5, I will get one more pawn for sure. And probably open the h-file. I hope I will have some compensation. At least after queen d2, white's pieces are not ideally placed. That's what I was talking about. So can I just take on e4? Then queen d5, right? Yeah, queen d5 is annoying. Okay, so I have to start with what? With just queen to d7, I suppose. Protecting f7. I'm losing the bishop on g4, for sure. I'm just trying now to sell it for as many pawns as possible. Maybe queen e7 was much more accurate because now I'm not sure what I'm going to do after queen g5, let's say. g7 will be heading, so things are getting interesting here. Oh, queen e3. Super solid move, right? Okay, let's castle. Let us castle. h3. So what I wanted to try is just to put the bishop on h5, but maybe I have bishop takes f5. If rook takes, I have d5. Can be interesting. Can be interesting stuff, but for now I want to just do this. If g4, I just take it twice. I'll have a lot of pawns for that bishop. Okay, dreams, dreams, dreams. Objectively speaking, my position is worse, I believe. This bishop g4 was just, you know, a bit stupid. So let's just put the king on b8 first. To free my knight. I mean, my knight is needed in this open fight. So now I cannot play g6, obviously. Can I play d5 here? Yeah, I think it's something that should be played anyway. I have to do something active, I mean. Otherwise I will be just easily beaten because my bishop is anyway out of play. So let's try to achieve something. At least some activity here. Oh, bishop b5. That is something unexpected. Okay, I'll just attack it. If white wants to capture there, okay, I'm ready. If bishop goes away now, that is also something pleasant. Gives me some extra time, right? I'm really close to save the bishop. I just don't see how to do that exactly. That is how we're doing it. Through d1 square, right? Yeah, here we go. A long, long way home through d1. There is also b3 square. And then finally to, you know, to d5, I hope. c4 is not really dangerous. Nice. But 30 seconds on the clock. Okay, with pleasure. Just simplifying the things because I'm a pawn up still. Queen c5 was a possibility, but then rook d5, right? Right. Okie dokie. I love this position. Looks very good. Okay. Some pre-moves are possible because everything is, well, pretty much obvious. Oh, this is a whole rook here. Look at this. It's just an extra rook. Just very pleasant, of course. Okay. So, have a feeling that there was a possibility. So the comment, you managed to keep the bishop. That's right. I managed to do that. Very nice. Third d1 square. By the way, there was bishop g5 I missed completely. Probably there was just a psychological trick. In fact, no, it's okay. I mean, I can play f6. If rook d1, I just take everything with checks and then I take on g5. But that was probably white's great chance here, because after rook d1, I have to take, otherwise I'm just lost. So takes, 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 takes. King goes to h2, let's say f takes g5. Okay, I have two rooks against the queen, but there is also the knight still on the board, which may change the situation. For example, white is free to start the attack quickly here, like b4, and then b5. And I'm not sure at all who's better here. Because if white manages to activate the tandem queen and the knight, it may be very dangerous for black, because it is a checkmate in tandem. They're working very well together to deliver a checkmate in attack, normally. That was a great option for white, by the way. Because after bishop to b3, I think I'm just completely fine. I don't see how white can cause a problem. Bishop is very nice here, controlling d1 square. So There's, no rook d1, knight c4, I always capture, and so forth. There was an interesting comment as well, Dr. Furkan. So after this exchange, really, bishop d1 was not necessary, so f6 was a move. That's true. I didn't notice this possibility because I was already in sort of time trouble. I've just noticed that d1 square somewhere here around this moment. And then I was just automatically following the initial plan. But yeah, I think given that white has this bishop g5, f6 is stronger than bishop to d1 for sure. Now I simply bring my bishop home if necessary. But for now, I can even keep my bishop on h5 because, as I said before, it controls very important d1 square. But whenever there is g4 or something, I just play bishop f7. Yeah, correct. Dr. Furkan, that's very valuable contribution. f6 is definitely strong. And somewhere here, I think white was like winning. I believe just greedy g4 was very good. I don't have really a sufficient compensation there. Something like g4, I wanted to capture with the bishop, then with the knight. All right, just queen g3 or something. Or queen f3, just what you want. Extra minor piece, okay, your king is a bit exposed, but the key here is a bit, okay? So I don't believe in black's full compensation or anything. And here after queen d7, I was a bit afraid of queen g5. Queen g5 was extremely annoying, I guess. Just creating a threat of queen g7. I mean, I cannot really take on e4 because it takes my bishop. And I probably cannot afford losing this g7 because if I castle, queen takes g7, my knight is hanging. If my knight moves again, it'll just take my bishop. And f7 is hanging as well. So that's a big problem, I suppose. Position looks just so terrible for black. I hate it. So to queen g5, I was going to play rook g8. But then you can probably just do something like what I was afraid of. I was afraid of like h3, g4. Yeah, you can, by the way, play h3 and g4 here. You control g4, so I cannot get the same compensation. But now I can notice the following. So if you play something like this immediately, I can probably just capture on e4, queen h5, knight g3, but then queen h7 comes. That's an interesting story. So takes, knight g3, goes here, castles, protecting the rook on g8. Rook is still hanging there with this threat of rook h8 followed by rook h3, but still, it doesn't look like a complete compensation. But at least there is something, right? So some play for sure. So d5 and so forth. Don't know. But to be completely honest, I shouldn't have played this bishop g4 in general. Kramnik student says h3, you can insert h6. Yeah, that's right, but then queen goes to h4. I saw that during the game as well. So h6, all right, queen just goes to h4. It doesn't really change anything, seriously. That's the point. So bishop is still there, and if it goes to h5, there is still no way. And you also say that rook e1 traps the knight on g3 at the end. Let's have a look. Yeah, I know that my knight is quite bad there, but I have d5 and then I have e4 square, so it's not, completely lost or something. So I still have some resources here for sure. And by the way, after d5, I'm no longer that sure that white is doing well. So let's say bishop to b5. And I have some interesting tricks like rook here, queen g7. Can I trap the queen here? Like rook there. Now bishop takes c6 now. That's why I played bishop b5. Otherwise, let's say here, if bishop goes to b3, just for example, I take here, I play rook to g8, attacking the queen, queen goes to f6, and I think something like knight e4. No, knight e4, rook takes, right? Knight h5, just queen h4. No, it's not entirely clear, but obviously bishop b5 is better. Maybe after bishop b5 I have to start with something else. Maybe to start with queen d6, create a sort of queen c5, and then this rook h8 followed by rook g8, or maybe rook h3 may be a dangerous story for white. Don't know. But queen on h7 is somewhat stuck for sure. Okay. Unclear. Unclear things. Whoa. Epinikin, accept. Let's play. Playing with black. The same? Or something else? Maybe the same. No, d3, fortunately. So Italian. Slow Italian. What's cool in this opening, there's simply no theory. I mean, there are some general maneuvers, but there is no typical theory because there are so many different options, so many different transpositions, transformations, and so forth. So now, as far as I remember, d5 is okay. Bishop takes b3 to start with should be also good. No, let's play d5. Come on. Now it goes to g3. And I have plenty of different moves, but I think my king side is somewhat abandoned. So I'm going back with the bishop just to protect g7 and h6 better. Maybe intending to play g6 followed by bishop g7. Looks strange, of course, because on c5 this bishop looks much better than on f8. But according to my experience, king side is quite weak in this pawn structure. So it's better to overprotect certain squares. Right, knight f5. What if I just play queen 2? d7 followed by rook to d8. I think it's alright. Centralization cannot be bad idea. And development at the same time. So we shouldn't forget d3 is weakness. So to take with the knight or to take with the queen? I think taking with the knight is good because it's a tempo move. But I have to be careful if the knight stays on f5. It's no longer the case, so let's focus on what is on the board. I thought white would try some like knight f3 to h4 and then in some sort of queen g4, but white decided just to go back. Alright. Then I am just centralizing my pieces. All the pieces are in play. Of course, my bishop is not that cool, but it's fine. We'll do an improvement for this guy a bit later. I think I can come back to c5. It's a good moment. Attacking the rook and just intending to grab the pawn next move. Why not? Yeah, let's do it. That's a good question. To save queens on the board or not? My queen is not that bad, by the way. It's quite an active piece. I'm just thinking of playing bishop b6 or just queen b5. Queen b5 is also quite good, I think. That's a tempo move. Yeah, let's play bishop to b6, I suppose. It's fine. Then I will just put my queen on g6. And I don't see a compensation, to be honest. Just like a position with the extra pawn. No compensation whatsoever. Bishop against the knight in a position with pawns on both flanks. It's also the part of my advantage here. Should be convertible. Should be convertible. King f1. Wow. What's the point? White wants to capture on e5. I understand. What should be the right reaction to this? Queen d3 check looks good. Do we have something more convincing? I mean, queen d3, king goes back, then what? What's the plan? Have no idea. Knight e5 is prevented. How to push my pawns here? So g6 may be played, followed by h5. e4 now. Knight takes e4, it doesn't work. Interesting. Okay, let's try this. Just g6, king g7, for instance. Knight to e4. Now king g7. Maybe I will regret. I played this g6. For now, though, everything looks okay. Everything is under control, at least. I'm probably intending to play f5, e4. So knight e5 is still not an option. But knight c4 becomes sort of annoying. Let's go there. Bravely. Maybe it's too much, was not needed, of course, to take these risks. Take it on f2, no, just here. Still looks okay for black. Although I believe I could have played in a much more solid fashion. Okay, go away. Go away, bro. Alright, let's take there as well. So, enough is enough. I mean, time to put my queen on, a safe square without this experimenting. Let's go there. B4 or BC4? What's better? Don't know. Oh my god. Just wasting my time on thinking about strange things instead of, just... Oh! That's a blunder. Here comes a blunder. Big one. My opponent was quite generous here. Okay, here comes the punishment. But I have no time. That's a problem. Psst, no time at all. Yeah, lost in time. That was just awful. I mean, from such a position, to lose the game from such a position, come on. Everything was so easy at the very beginning. I mean, my opponent outplayed himself, giving me this pawn for free on d3, and then I started playing like a complete idiot. To start here, maybe I could have even played some like king h8, preparing f5. Not sure. So knight takes c5. It's hard to believe why I can play this way, but maybe why I can't do that. Okay, what if I just play rook d2 now? Attacking f2 should be just absolutely lost. Should be just absolutely lost for white. White is somehow still in the game. Yeah, maybe I'm just too tired and I don't see something really obvious, but for now it doesn't look like it's a lost position, in fact. Yeah, okay, what to discuss? Even the way I played was completely alright. The thing is, I was doing this really slow. So everything was fine, just come on. Just win the game. And the queen d5 here was a good decision, by the way, just to simplify everything without taking much risks. And then rook d5, still extra pawn, and so forth. Oh, fantastic. It was very bad. That was very bad. Okay, let's go further. Taliel, accept. Yeah, still far from my normal shape. Done G. Hello. Can I just win a pawn like this? Black will probably have some compensation. It's a pair of bishops, sort of active play, but I don't really believe in this anyway. Castles. So what is the right way of converting? First of all, let's go there to a5. Well, creating is right of knight a5. Maybe black will play a5, then I can attack a5 itself. No. Black decided not to do that, so maybe putting the knight on a5 would be a good idea. First, let's complete a development. d5. Okay. So now knight a5 looks very logical since bishop cannot go back to c8. c6 will drop. Which means I can basically just take the bishop there. And I will have extra pawn with no compensation. But maybe I will do this a bit later. First of all, let's grab some space. That feels good. Feels like extra pawn and extra space. And I'm really curious where the knight goes. I didn't see any very promising square. So now d4, protecting the pawn. Black is suffering. At least this is my impression here. I would have suffered in a similar situation. So how to make black suffering less bearable? Maybe a3, b4? Yeah, why not? Just fixing the pawn on c6. Knight to c4. Now it's an interesting choice. So after knight takes c4, I basically triple black's pawns on the c file. No, I think it's better for me to do this. Taking the bad bishop. But this bishop could have become a good one after going to c8. Now playing b3, forcing the knight back to b6. And this knight on b6 is just super awful. Yeah. Now I have to prevent c5. And I think bishop e3 is just a simple option of doing it. Yeah. Extra pawn again. More space. This knight on b6 is out of play. So let's focus on converting the advantage. F takes c5. Okay, I will just take with f pawn. Taking with the d pawn was probably also interesting, but I do everything to prevent c6, c5. That's why. Taking with the f pawn. Now a6 is hanging, by the way. After this exchange. Rook there. Okay, why not? Why not to take here? Because rook goes to a8, then a3 will be captured, right? Another option is just to play queen f5, creating a sort of queen e6 check. Can I win a bit more, like queen a6, rook a8, queen b7? It's all not necessary at all. Doesn't feel like very important stuff there. Yeah, I think it's better for me to think of the f file. It's much more relevant here. So let's do it. Okay, after knight d7, obviously, taking the pawn is good. Because now c6 is hanging. So it looks like I was too weak to make this long queen a6 move immediately. So I started with queen d3, like getting closer. And only after that I was able to take on a6. No, it's not the case, you know that. I didn't want to take on a6 immediately because of rook a8 with unclear consequences. Knight to f8. Okay. With a good blockading idea, of knight e6, but it feels like it's just too late for black because I have really big advantage here. Now to f-file. In fact, I was just protecting the pawn and freeing my rook because I still believe this f-file can give me more. Okay, preventing knight h4. By the way, g6 is no better than b6. Usually it's just a very bad square for the knight because of this annoying pawns, the one on b3 and another one on g3. So the knight becomes absolutely useless in this case. That's why I actually captured the bishop on b7, just to play b3 and to force the knight to that very ugly position. That was the point. Okay. Now I think nothing stops me from playing queen f5 and bishop to g5. Activity. And now queen e6 check. Simple way to win a queen. Yeah. Okay. So in general, I don't believe in this line. If you want to play something like this, you have to be much more active, I think. At least after knight c4, it's a good idea to start with the a5. Grabbing some space, preventing me from playing knight to a5. And then d5 automatically becomes much more efficient action. So knight c3, let's say if I continue playing the same way, just castle. I have to think of this d5 already. So it may be a 9. That's the one thing. Yeah, here d5 was definitely not correct. So a5 first, then d5. Maybe developing the bishop to b7 is not that great in the first place. So somewhere here, like queen e7 should be seriously considered. Attacking the knight, intending this d7, d5. Then, after my knight, say, goes to c4 or something. But okay. Play bishop c5 here. That's the move, I believe. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the game. Let's go further. Sebi is the next. Okay, another challenge. e4. There will be e5, right? Yeah, there will be e5. I wanted to try something different. Because usually what happens against Sebastian is Rui Lopez. It's really hard to outplay my opponent because he's very tough. I want to try something different. Not that I really know the theory there, most likely I don't know a single line, but it's a bit non-standard. So can I play bishop c4 now? Without losing something. Or maybe just not to f3 to start with. Anyway, super boring. Like 4 knights. My God. At least there will be an F file. Not for long, I believe, but not for long for me exclusively, I mean, because black will probably just play something like bishop e6. But then I will probably not take. Yeah, maybe I will try something like bishop b5, and there will be a transposition to the royal officer or something. Yeah, it looks very strange. Okay, here I think knight h4 should be played, preventing knight g6. And who knows, maybe just capture it on f6 if my opponent gives me such a chance. No, knight goes back to c6. This is kind of achievement, I suppose. So knight to g6 now forces rook to e8. It's nothing for white, I guess. Queen to f3 is something really typical, or queen to e1, let's say, can be an option. And I'm not sure which move is better here, so I'm tempted to try just queen to f3 in this game. Controlling d5 additionally, exerting more pressure along the f-file, and intending to bring the queen to g3 at some point, not immediately here. Maybe I will also consider some like knight to f5 next move. Knight to d5 at some point may be also an interesting try. What about knight g6 now, by the way? It's probably nothing, right? In addition to bishop c4, where after my knight will not go back to the game from f8, there is also simple rook to e8, I believe. Bishop e6 takes e6, queen h3 leads to queen to e8 or something. Yeah. Can I play something like this? That's interesting. So just knight f5. If black wants to damage my pawn structure by taking on c4, alright. But my knight will be on f5. Very annoying piece, I believe. And there will be some dynamic possibilities of bringing the pawn to c5, or maybe playing knight to d5 quickly after that. I've never played such a pawn structure, so would be interesting to try. Of course, if black takes on d4. If black doesn't, then we will see what to do. Okay. Two pairs of doubled pawns. Now taking on g7, taking on h6 is nothing. We can try something like this first. Rook to d1, creating a sort of c5 positional threat. A tactical one as well. And just bringing one more piece to active position. Why not? Maybe I should have played c5 immediately, you know. c5, d5, then rook to d1, queen somewhere, and then knight takes g7. Yeah, that was a move. Just c5 immediately. Yeah, lost the time. Okay, let's go there. Nah, that's stupid. I mean, knight takes d5. Come on, what am I doing, huh? Yeah, it's just very strange play of mine. Okay. Yeah, c5 was very interesting. c5 was very interesting there. I mean, in that position. Not now. Now it's nothing. What I have here is just, active pieces. Not more than that. Oh. No, it's still okay for black, I believe. Let's come up with some maneuvering. At least creating some stress, right? What do we have? We have some possibilities to create some threats. That's it. All right. This slightly improves my pawns, and by the way, gives me some new objects of attack, I believe. Some new squares, by the way. Okay, let's stop the pawn from going to b4 at all. This weakens black's pawn structure, so we should use this opportunity. Okay, running away with the king. Running away with the king. Again, some slight regrouping. I'm not sure if it was smart from my side, but okay. Queen to e1, nothing is hanging, but queen h6 is impossible because of queen g3. So let's just find another object of attack. I believe d6 will be the one. h5 is threatening. That's annoying. That's annoying. That was very stupid. And I offered a draw here because I just completely misplayed the thing. Alright, so queen... Where was my mistake here? At some point, position felt very good already. Somewhere here, everything was still fine. For white, I mean, new perspectives, new objects of attack. So probably this rook g3 was just, absolutely not needed. Yeah, I should have attacked this d6 already here. So playing something like queen f5 was much more logical. If queen gets active, okay, my queen gets active as well. And then we'll see what to do. And I somehow missed the opportunity to play c5 there. So the pawn structure was really interesting. Sebi says, of course, I know I'm lost when knight lands on f5. I don't think you're lost. I don't think so. So position is just maybe not very pleasant for black, but I don't believe it is a lost position. So even if you take, for example, my knight on f5, it's not lost whatsoever. So it's just a slight advantage for white. But okay, bishop c4, dc4, king h7. And now, yeah, c5 was interesting. I missed this opportunity. So I don't need the rook to play on d1 to play c5. I can do this right now, because after this, rook to d1, if queen goes away somewhere, I have knight g7, and that's a different story. I get some real chances after that. And if knight goes to d7, let's say, I think I have at least knight to g7 as well. So king g7 check, and then I take on d7. Maybe I have something better than knight g7 here. So maybe queen g4 to start with, g6, then knight h6, rook d7. That's at least something that looks like an initiative for white. Yeah, I played rook to d1. That was very bad move. After rook to d1, I believe black had this simple knight d7 solution. And I don't have c5. I don't have knight g7. I don't have knight h6. I don't have anything. Yeah. And knight e5 was just very stupid. Knight d5, come on. Knight takes d5. So my only chance for initiative was based on, this current vulnerability of the knight on f6. By playing knight d5, I just exchange this problem myself. I just solved this problem for black. Stupid. Stupid, wasn't it? So knight takes g7 here, king g7, queen f6, king goes away. I didn't see anything as a follow-up. That's why I played this. Yeah, and okay. Just a symbolic advantage for white here. I don't think it's real. No surprises, it was a draw. At the end, I was even worse. Okay, interesting game. So, big boy G, probably the last game for today. And next week, back to normal schedule, I hope. Training Tuesday and Banter Blitz Thursday. So let's play something different again. Usually I don't play it, but let's try. Okay. White doesn't want to take risks, which should slightly help. Now we have this exchanged Caracan variation, right? But the knight is already on f3, which means I can put my queen on c7, be not afraid of knight e2 followed by bishop f4. This is a very pleasant version for black, I suppose. Should be, at least. Maybe I should have played bishop g4. Not sure. But okay, even this way should be okay for black. Yeah, bishop is stupid on c8. We'll try to improve it a bit later. Can I play something like this? Knight to e4. Over ambitious move. At least a tempo one, right? Tempo move. After all, I was ready to sacrifice a pawn on the move number 2. Why not to try something like this, right? I know. I'm weakening my own pawn, I'm weakening e5. But I'm just playing in a pub style. Pub. Coffee shop style. I think. It's okay for the last game. I'm slightly tired. Don't want to think much. I'm just making natural moves, active moves mainly, which is pretty cool. I didn't even notice that after f5 I had an idea of playing f4 trap in the bishop. Because I just started thinking of what was the reason of playing knight b3. That was probably a defense against f4. Now I know that. Alright. What's next? b6, i5, bishop a6, something like this. Or simply bishop d7, bishop e8, bishop h5, just like in the stone wall. Which is also a typical idea. Let's bring the bishop to h5. I think it will be a good idea to use this guy as a weapon. Pop style must include Harry the H-pawn. No, it's a different pop. It's a Samoa pop. Okay, rook to c1, bishop e8. I'm not sure if it was an accurate quoting because I was watching that movie in Russian translation, so I don't know. Okay, knight to g5 looks a bit strange, but maybe it's okay. So what if I play f4 now? Bishop takes e4, I suppose. No, f4 just attacks the bishop. It doesn't attack. No, it does attack the knight. So f4, knight is hanging and bishop is hanging, but probably bishop takes e4, d takes e4, and then queen takes e4, creating straight away checkmate. I can play bishop to g6, queen takes e6, check, king h8. No, it's too hard for me to calculate. Probably I'm winning there because there is a threat of rook to e8. So f4, knight takes e6 is possible as well. Queen e7, knight takes f8, I take on e3. It should be very pleasant for black to play. Okay, let's try this f4. At least it's very consistent in the sense of style I was playing up to this moment. Yeah, queen e7, attacking the knight. If knight takes f8, I just take on the e3, and then the knight on f8 is somewhat trapped. That was at least my idea, maybe I missed something. If bishop e4 now, I just take on e4 with the pawn. Again, knight is hanging, bishop is still hanging, so... Knight takes h7 is probably not a possibility because of e takes f2 with check, right? Right. Should I take on f2 right now to start with? Or should I just take on e4? If I take on f2, queen e4 check is possible. Yeah, I think I should try this. So just check first. Knight is still there. Pretty much trapped. Okay, now takes on e4. So I'm in exchange down for now, but it's not for long, I believe, because knight on f8 is somewhat trapped. Yeah, now I just take it. 2 minor pieces for the rook. And a couple of pawns on my side. So this f2 is not that simple to take, because this opens the position against on king. It gives me a very simple play. Rook f8 is now coming. E3 is also very nice threat. So what to start with? I don't know. E3. Both are quite good. So let's play rook f8. Let us play rook f8. Queen e3, bishop f4 is winning. If queen e2, I think queen g5 should be very close to winning. Don't know. Maybe simple e3 was stronger. Let's just take it. What if I just put the bishop here? It's really tempting. It was really tempting. to put the bishop there, just controlling everything, what is almost completely paralyzed. And here comes the punishment, queen e3, which is my main threat after bishop g3. Anyway, interesting game, interesting chess. So after queen c7, c3, knight there, h3, e6. Maybe it was a bit more accurate for white to start with queen e2. Controlling e4 square, anyway, it's a useful move, why not? And then bishop to g5. But in this case, I have some tricks like knight to b4, because if cb4, I take on c1, but I don't think it's more than just tricks. After bishop b5 check, bishop d7 and shake castling. Everything that I achieve is actually an exchange of bishops, right? That's probably not that bad for black as well. So position should be balanced here, okay? All right, maybe to start with castling here, not immediately bishop to g5. Just like that. No. And then quickly, rook e1, knight e5, let's say. Why not? I'm not sure that bishop g5 is that needed. What white needs here, in fact, is to bring the knight to e5 as quick as possible. Because what we have here, we have Carlsbad pawn structure reversed. Black will try some sort of minority attack probably on the queen side, like b5, a5, b4. And white will have to play on the king side, preparing the attack gradually. There is also just a simple plan like playing bishop c2, queen d3. Knight should go through d2 to f1 to g3 to be able to jump to h5 at some point. And yeah, this knight e5 should happen sooner or later. Okay. Thanks for the games. Thanks for being with me this Sunday night or Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon. I don't know where you're from. So sorry for rescheduling it. Next week, again, if nothing will come in the way, we'll continue with the normal schedules, so training Tuesday and the banter on Thursday. Wish you all a great week, and see you very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.